Communication, education, and isebe involved in this matter. Ningabona abantu boqala abaye ba-actor. Just take me through.
Look, this matter, our involvement is on the basis that it involves a person who's a learner.
Yes.
And she so happened to be a learner in our schools. So we are obligated thereof to be human. And when we heard of this as the department from last year, we did a lot of investigation, which was in phases. Investigation that involved the school, what is it that they did, investigation that had to do with interacting with the parent, just at the level of what is it that she says vis-a-vis what is being said by the school, and we then afforded the family that chance and subsequently psychosocial support. But from the preliminary report that came out, we could see that there was resistance that was coming from the side of the school. And we felt a little bit let down, because you'd have expected that a school principal or anyone would come into the play, would be frustrated when a kid is said to have had such an encounter.
Yes.
And then we closed the report with that line that says we've got a bit of an uncomforting attitude that is coming from the school. But the thing is, the nature of the school is an independent school.
Okay.
And when we talk of an independent school, we talk of a school that has got a board, that their operation isn't really an operation that can be purely controlled by the department.
Okay.
So
I want, before we go further ahead, you're saying it got to your attention sometime. When did the matter get to you?
I might not be having a specific date, but it was sometime last year, towards the end of the year, in the period of October and November. I might not just have the date now, but it is at that period. Towards the end of the year, tail end, between October and November. It's between those 2 months. And then by the time we closed the academic year last year, the department had concluded its own internal preliminary investigation. And when we looked at every possible avenue that we could use to drag the school and its own leadership to come to participate.
So it got to you.
Yeah.
What did you do?
We did our own investigation.
Your own investigation as the department?
Department of Education's investigation, which it doesn't include scientific testing of anything. It's a matter of asking what happened, what did you do, when did this happen, behavior of umntwana, has it changed esikolweni, umntwana beperforma njani kwikotazi, because our own ability starts and mostly end on how we read umntwana beperforma njani kwi-first quarter. When this incident is said to have happened, uperforma njani in the last quarter. And if indeed there are disparities that we see, we then escalate the matter, and in most instances we always use social workers, because it's them that are trained to deal with that. And that's why you find that social development is always on our side.
So it's always on your side. So it got your attention around November. You did your own investigations.
Yeah.
And what else? Was there interaction? Of course, was there interaction with the victim's family? I just want to confirm. With your investigation, did you get to interact with the victim's family?
The district was in consultation with that parent after the parent itself had a chat had made a complaint
Yes.
that this is how she's treated at the school after an acclaimed incident, that which is a parent she was claiming, and then the district came into play, and it coming into play also was to say, you do understand that this is an independent school, and these are the limitations that the department has in relation to the whole matter. And and that is why at all times we knew that we are operating in a bit of a corner. We don't have a bigger ground to act and install authority instead.
Oh, okay. Now, we come across okanye sinibona when you are involved in the closing of the school. What led you to that? In the MEC going to the school. What made you go there?
There were two reasons. One is that the school is not so our rationale to go to the school was as a result of one, the public cry.
Yes.
And also the fact that our institution is accused by the public that it's not respecting the victim thereof. And the MEC had to then say, okay, fine, I hear the report. Let me then hear further the explanation. And when he got the report and sat down and analyzed, and he called the legal team of the department to look at what could be the avenue. The instant avenue was to give a notice.
Okay.
I must make a clarity. It's a notice. Notice. Eti uba anincedisani ne-SAPS sizokunivala ngoba kaloku le license niqhuba ngayo nemali
Also, you fund the independent school. You fund you fund the school, but you don't necessarily control.
No. Kaloku eSouth Africa unezikolo une categories zezikolo eziyi-2. Une-public independent school, une-public schools and independent schools. So as much as fund i-public schools in all forms and shapes, nezi independent schools siyazifanda. No, sisharp sis.
We just have this.
Yeah.
And what's that?
So we fund the public and the independent schools. So now that independent school is a funder.
Okay, and they had to act when you ask them.
They're obligated to respect the South African people. Nobody, they don't respect the department, but they are obligated to respect the people of South Africa. People of South Africa currently, they've got a consistent fight against gender-based violence, and anyone who's a leader in a particular institution should know at least.
So, the hesitation, where did you get the report somewhere that they are hesitating, Nina, as a department? Where did you get the report that the school is hesitating?
No, just generally, there was that sentiment that the school and the school leadership did not form or did not really help in the situation.
Oh, okay.
So it was clear that they're not acting warmly as you would have expected them. They were not, in according to what we what we got from the report, and that is why we had to make that decision. But you must participate.
Okay.
And hence we had to say, we're giving you a notice.
So you went to the school, you gave them a notice.
Yes.
What happened then after I remember it was on a
No,
Friday.
we went to court and then said they are fighting against they are appealing the decision, which to us it was a very I think they jumped the gun.
To appeal the decision of intending to close the
Yeah,
school.
because it was an intention. There was no court case. It was an intention. An intention is not a court application. It's an intention.
To close the school.
We write a letter to you and say, if you don't do this, but however, they did exactly what we expected them to do. Such that they participate. Then, because our own line.
What does participate mean? They participate how?
SAPS was there and they were able to do what is expected of them by SAPS. Look at the point.
So the department made the school get the DNA. And
Look, our work and our existence was had to come to an end when the National Police Commissioner landed in the Eastern Cape.
Okay.
When that happened, we then said, exactly. And then if what then happened next is the matter of the security cluster, which was dealing with the aid. And now you had one child that is spoken about as having been victimized in that form. And then on the other side, you've got close to 600 learners in that institution in different grades. That if you continue closing the school, you'll dislodge them in the middle of an academic year. So hence we had to then allow them to open and continue with the school, because we knew that at least there is no SAPS that can handle a matter and still say 600 learners must be in the streets or must be looking for a school somewhere when the matter is receiving a national attention. So
I was about to get to that, Bana. So you decided at some point, I think it was a few days later, after intending to close the school, you came back and said, you can go ahead now. We're not closing the school anymore. To the general public, it seemed like you are backing down.
No, we're not. No. Besingabhekeli. Bengenanto besiyoyika ke futhi. Because you must understand intoba apha is a catch-22 situation. Right? Kunomntwana apha ekuthethwa ngayo ipublic ekuthiwa uhlukunyeziwe. Right? Asizukwazi ukungamenzeli inceba.
Okay.
Ngapha kukho abayi close to 600. Right? Abamileyo abacela ubheka esikolweni bona. And njengoba becela ubheka esikolweni nje, abazali babo balapha ematatiyela. And kule ndawo bakuyo isikolo esinye esi abakwaziyo ukufikelela kuso esiyi-middle classes, babazali babisiwa ku-middle class. So uba uthi ke ndiyaqhubekeka ndisitshixa for abantwana abayi-600, uthi ke ngoku ii-parents ezi-close to 600 mazithi bhazalale Alfred ndizozikhangela isikolo.
So you closed
For umntana oyi-1. Not to say we are just opposing, but we are saying partly your matter is being handled. And umntana lona kuthethwa ngayo uyafunda in one of the schools in the province. So akakho kwapha.
How did that happen?
No,
did you find her another school?
No, parents can take their children anywhere in the province. Ofuna umfundisa amatetela umntana ngamfundisa, ofuna umfundisa bike and do that. It's a decision of a parent.
Oh, okay.
So the child is not in this one, not in this school. And then there's this school that is hosting 600 planners.
And now it must be closed.
And then we were closing it. But this child that is in question or that is in debate is not here.
Oh.
Yeah, so hence we had to vary our chances. At the very same time, secure the future of these kids. Because pray first quarter to get it. So if uzothi mabawukhangela izikolo, it means uzothi mabazikhangela nakoma-harding, because that would be the nearest school. I mean the nearest
town
affluent school. It means some must go to KZN. So as a province, we had to.
I hear the department is expected, is instructed, or is asked, rather than MSC, to that school. What do you say to that?
Apologize for what?
I'm going to quote this. AfriForum, I was there in my investigation, and they say they have written a letter. They intending to sue, that kind of a thing. The MSC for saying client there about the principal is a rapist. Have you guys received that letter? Is there such a thing?
There's no way the MSC said that there's a rapist. The only thing that the MSC communicated is that I am intending to close your school because you've got a matter that is unfinished, and it involves a minor, and that minor was at your care. So the expectation of an apology, you must apologize for what specifically? And most probably it will only be the court that says apologize. And if it's the court that says so, that will be well and good. As a law-abiding citizen, he will do that. But can't be told by just people somewhere. Okay. Just say, MSC must apologize for what?
Okay.
It's not possible.
Otherwise, the case is opened now. It was closed, it's now opened. What are you thinking? What are you hoping for, Jake, in closing about the whole thing?
No, I don't think we must put the cart before the horse, because we have an obligation of respecting that process. Once it's opened, it's reopened. We mustn't do a mistake of being conclusive of what is going to come out of that, because by so doing we're putting pressure on the justice system. But I do understand and believe that the NPA does know that there's a huge trust in them, and I do believe that they will live up to the expectations. And the fact that it's reopened, it means they hear what people are saying, and they want to live up to the public's expectations. Not that they didn't, they did. That's why they can open the case and then they conclude, and then someone there comes and say, you left this. They will have to go and look at where there would have been a point raised. So, because NPA and the entire justice, its own life is to do the justiceness of the justice. So I don't know. If I'm under pressure, they must rush. They are not. But at the very same time, they do know. I know there we've got colleagues that are learned enough. They know that the justice delay is justice denied. So from where I'm seated, I will watch keenly what is going to be the conclusion of this matter. Because there is a parent that says, my child was violated, right? And that parent needs to have a convincing closure on the matter. I believe she does need that, and most probably she deserves it. But at the very same time, as a public, we need a conclusive closure so that we can know if indeed we must trust the capacity of the state.
I don't want this too much English. I just remember something I missed. You closed the file. You did your own investigation. As an investigation, they are concluded when you close the file.
No, we didn't even get nearer in testing who raped who or what. We don't have the capacity to do that.
Yes.
We can't do it with anyone. We just say, okay, there's this preliminary, what happened. Most probably we do an incident report. And if we get an understanding that there's a need of a social worker support, then social workers come. They are the ones that say, okay, fine, we think that there's this and this and this and this is the next move. The bare minimum that we can do as Department of Education is to enforce those that would have been involved in any wrongdoing that involves the school and the child. That when there's a process that is defined by government in whichever form, nobody, it's another arm of government, maybe another department, you must respect it. That's the only thing that we can do. Because the only biggest test that we know how to do it excellently, unquestionable so, is to write a homework, a test, and a control test. That one.
This was long. It's an episode on its own. Thank you so much.
No. Thank you very much. And I would really employ the people of South Africa that.
I thought you were gonna say you wanna employ me.
No. I will employ on people.
You said it in the public.
No. I'm saying I will employ on people of South Africa to. Masizenze xa kusenzeka izinto South Africa. Yabo. Afuneka sijonge uba ngubani othetha ngale nto sikhawuleze sonke sime ngeenyawo. Yabo. In the process of uma ngeenyawo sonke siba nezinto esizilahlayo besithubeni. Ezibalulekileyo nezi and kufuneka singamameli sinomsindo ngaloo xesha because awumisi izinto ezibalulekileyo.